Hey you guys, what is up? Welcome back to my podcast. LOL, I'm not gonna lie, this is probably the actual ninth time I have done this episode because I keep not liking how it looked or sounded, all the things. So tell me what it's like to not be a perfectionist because I don't know what that's like. Hey guys, what is up? So I am so excited for this episode because I am going to literally dive in on what has been changing in my business and what I'm doing and what my next move is, and just give you guys a little update and stuff because I've been teasing about it here and there. And if you guys are loyal TikTok followers, or I guess you listen to every word I say on YouTube, which I talk very fast. So if that's you, then you're a real one because I talk literally so fast. But I've been mentioning a few things every now and again about beginning a new business, and that is not a surprise, but I haven't told literally anyone about what happened this past week because I was really I'm so superstitious. I even hate discussing it like this, even though it's literally it's pretty much done. I'm nervous. That's just me. I can't help it. But we have, whenever I say we, I'm who am I referencing? Because it's literally just me. We as in me, myself, and I are moved in to a fulfillment center. So I moved into a fulfillment center. So, I have a lot to say here because people might think, well, why didn't you do this years ago? Why didn't you do it from the right out the gate? And I want to get into that in a minute here because I have a lot to say on this. But I want to say this first of all, no one knows what your business is better than you, what is best for your business better than you. And at the same time, I don't really, I can't just go to anyone that's doing this because there's no one that has already done this. Everyone's figuring it out as they go. So there's literally no rule book. There's no tutorial. I think people want that and they think I have the key to all the answers of how to find success, having being doing social media, having a business. I'm I actually think I'm doing 7 things at once all the time. And I don't know what I'm doing ever at the same time. All I know is that I just keep focused, and keep working toward these goals I have. So the fulfillment center, my biggest thing, I was really not even, when I first walked in, I was oh gosh, it's great, but I still have to literally make it. I'm still super crammed. My apartment, you guys, I'm not even being dramatic here. So I have a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, and the guest bathroom was never a bathroom. It is literally a storage closet. The second closet is also a storage closet. The whole entire second bedroom is everything and anything. It converts into my office space. It converts into my YouTube filming room. It converts into the actual slime making room on top of the inventory that I also hold on to. So I obviously don't just sell, and I get quite defensive about this because people always say oh, you just sell slime, you just poke. And I don't even care that I'm being reactive about this because people really do think it is as easy as pour glue in a container and you mix it and you sell it. It is 2,000 times more intense than that and more articulate. There's so much that goes into it. So I'm yeah, I'm gonna respond to that question, but I'm gonna make sure that it is not that way. So it's extremely just it's everywhere. I have boxes. Yes, period. I had boxes in my living room, literally in my living room. I had boxes of jars everywhere. And then the entire hallway leading out to my apartment, leading in and out, was lined with 2 shelves that were stacked so freaking high with inventory, filming stuff. Like, when I say filming stuff, I mean if I film a YouTube video and I purchase, let's say I'm purchasing like fidget toys or slime or arts and crafts stuff, like it's all going to go on that shelf, because later I'm going to pull from it and I'm going to either do a makeover, or I'm going to do a collection, or I'm going to do make a giant DIY out of something. Like, I'm going to pull from this. It's like my cabinet that I pull from, essentially. But it's not a cabinet, it was a giant shelf. And there was 2 of them, and they were literally like, what's the correct square footage of that hallway? I don't even know, but they're so large and they were in their way. And then I had so many jars in that entire guest bathroom. Like, you couldn't walk in. Like, it's like dog crate, my Christmas tree. It's in a box. And then the countertop, it was like in totes of all of my merchandise, like my t-shirts and my like bags I sell with my like logo on them, like for conventions and such, or just like if I ever go on tour, that's the plan, sis. Like, that is the plan. That's what I want to do next, is do stuff like that. But then it's like a meet me, but then I also want to have a show that I kind of put on. And then you can also buy merchandise that I sell, like the apparel merchandise, but you can also buy like slime or whatever I'm currently selling. So that's coming soon for sure. That's in the works right now. And yeah, the entire shower also was just jars. So like literally so full. And then my apartment was very full. You're probably like, well, why didn't you just do this right out the gate? Like, why did you put it back into your apartment? Well, it's a lot easier said than done. People don't realize how expensive office spaces are. If you want I'm not even being like, trying to be like, oh, I want a pretty cute warehouse. Like, first of all, yeah. But second of all, like, when I just say like basic, I just mean I want a warehouse that doesn't have critters running around, or it's like disgusting and like in a sketchy area. Like, there's so many warehouses that like, okay, sure, like, or office spaces, like, okay, sure, like, that's okay, fine. But there's still like $1,200 a month, and that's just to live there, just to rent there. You know, not the Wi-Fi, not the electric bills, all these things that end up being like $1,500 a month. So it's like, I'm way better off doing it this way. Okay. And that was my mentality up until recently, because I came across this situation. I didn't really seek it out. I honestly feel like you really just can't seek this. This kind of just landed in my lap in a way. So I was touring the fulfillment center, and they showed me these offices in the back that were literally 10 steps away from the fulfillment center. So let's say, you know, if I were to have kept my stuff in my house, then I would have had to literally take my product down through my apartment, down the elevator, through like actually 4 or 5 doors, and then take it to my car, load it up, drive it over, unload it, and then it's going to be ready to be fulfilled. No, okay, absolutely not. That sounds horrific. I have been literally hauling like so many boxes, heavy boxes, like, and these, I mean, at one point, I'm pretty sure, like, the wagon was like a few hundred pounds of, you know, there's glue, like gallons of glue. They are so heavy. And the jars and the inventory, you know, the clay, the supplies, it really is quite heavy. And having it in an apartment, you know, there's like so many different barriers you have to get through, so many barriers. And I'm literally chugging this wagon through my complex. And I have done this before. Like, let's not forget, in 2017, up until 2018, I did this actually from 2017 through 2018. So in these apartments I lived in, I did it the same way. And it was better at the time, because I didn't really know where this was going. You know, this was the beginning of it all for me in 2017, with the business aspect of it tacked onto YouTube. And I didn't want to, you know, do all these big things like getting employees or doing a warehouse or having all this stuff that is expensive, like fun fact, it actually costs money to have employees. You have to pay the state lots of taxes, and I think I actually paid like so much money just to even have one employee, which was so insane to me. I was just like, how is this even, at one point I was like, is this even profitable at this point to have all these extra expenses that are just literally to get the job done, you know? So trial and error big time, but yeah, I do not say, it's easy to look back and be like, oh, this was, you know, whatever, but like I have nothing, no one or nothing to look to. Like my whole family is like this, they're not in this world. I'm 100%, gosh, you know, and I really don't ever say this because I feel like it's so taboo, but I'm 100% self-made. I've never had anyone help me. I've never had daddy's money, like all this crap. Like I've never had that. And I'm not saying that because I want you to be like, oh, Nichole, like, you know, good for her. Like, no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that because I think it's important to understand my story and like where I come from and all these things. It's like this path is fully being adventured, and just every step of the way I'm trying to figure it out myself, and I think I'm doing a pretty dang good job myself figuring it all out. And yeah, this is the next move. So when I was at the fulfillment center, they showed me these office spaces, and they were literally 10 steps away from the actual center. And I'm going to just flat out tell you this office space was $200 a month. What? Do you realize? Okay, if you guys watch so after 2018, I rented a entire apartment for my slime business. So that was actually like really great. The landlord approved it, and then the landlord literally moved, and there was a new landlord, and then she didn't approve it, and it was this whole weird thing. So they kept like literally giving us so much crap all the time, and they would constantly like yell at us for having too many deliveries. It was a lot, and honestly kind of unfair because the first landlord told us yes, so you can't just do that. So we honestly were like, well, this is ridiculous. But after that, I really started to get serious about, you know, having actual employees and stuff. So I went down to one person totally full time, and then we moved into a warehouse space from 2019 August. We moved in July, August, and then we did that for a whole year until August 2020. The warehouse space we were renting before that, my most recent warehouse I was at, which you guys probably might remember, was well, with Wi-Fi included, it was $2,000 a month for just the warehouse space. Now that's actually pretty freaking cheap. Now if you want, like, and that warehouse was honestly so gross, like so disgusting. Before we even moved in, I had to do so much out of pocket work to just get things honestly in line. At one point, the AC literally froze, so they had to unthaw it in the middle of summer. Like, so many things that are just like, because it was a warehouse space that I was renting the warehouse, I am now in charge of taking care of these things. You're probably like, no, you're not. The landlord is. Well, the landlord was actually the worst, and not to be like that, but she was. Like, she was always in our space. She was always like being so terrible. She literally would control our thermostat, and she would make it like 75 degrees in our warehouse that had literally like 2 windows, no air circulation. It was like a hot box. So we actually finagled like it's called an L wrench. We used an L wrench to literally manually change the AC down. And at one point, I think I actually broke the plastic a little bit. I didn't even care because I'm renting this place for like $2,000 a month. Like, can I control the AC? Like, this is ridiculous. So many little things like that. And then there was just so many, you know, lesson learned, but it was a good experience in the beginning, of course. Oh, we hung doors up, and I told her I was going to do that. We went to the basement of this warehouse, and we toured the whole thing, and then they had some really gross, like, green doors with, like, a window in the middle. This is not an interior door, but it was definitely, like, they had makeshifted it. So when I moved in, I was like, oh, I'm definitely going to get doors. I want to divide it. Please go back and watch my old warehouse tour video because that will make more sense there. But I was like, no, I definitely want to divide it because I want to have like the packaging center separate from the front, which was like the making area, and then that middle section, if you remember that middle section in my old YouTube backdrop with all the glue in the background and like the really cool, it was like a tan brick wall. That was my old backdrop. That was in the middle of those doors, which are very important. And then she literally like harassed the guys that were installing the doors. She was like, she literally gave them an earful, wouldn't let them leave until I came back to like talk to her. It was so ridiculous for doors. I was like, dude, I was gonna leave them here. Like, I just bought nice doors for this warehouse that I didn't even own. And then after that whole thing happened, I was like, absolutely not. I sold the doors. We took them off the hinges, and then we actually realized that the guys that were taking the old like trim off, they threw the trim away. So we couldn't even put the trim back up, which was cool. But she never said anything, honestly, so I don't really want to keep speaking about it on her name because we actually left unscathed. But we had nothing to, we had done nothing wrong, but it was just like this weird thing, So having a warehouse and renting a warehouse, but also being in charge of being in charge of an employee and running an entire YouTube channel, editing, creating, producing, all these things take a lot of time. It's very, like, that's people's full-time job. People's full-time job will just be YouTube. And on top of it, I was managing 2 TikTok accounts that were also helping to grow both the business and the YouTube channel, all that stuff, and then a podcast. You guys, so much. Oh, and also like, having a social life is important sometimes too. I'm like, literally, this was a year ago, so I was like 23, which, what's a life like? So I said that I was like, I'm really good at managing people, and I think I do a pretty good job at directing and being a good leader. I think I do a pretty good job, but it's like, that isn't the point. It's like, I don't want to be doing that. Now, you're probably like, well, then why didn't you hire someone to direct everything? Like, why didn't you, allocate money to someone else? It's like, first of all, it's so expensive to have employees. So if I'm going to employ someone, I better be freaking sure about it because there's so much paper you have to do, like to the government and the IRS, like so much. Okay. It's crazy. So I'm like, if I'm going to do this, it's going to be serious. And I just was like, I don't want to go down this path. I've made a pretty valid point whenever I've been running my business. I'm like, I don't want to be seen as a small business owner. That's not my goal. Yes, I have a business and I have a freaking amazing e-commerce store that I'm so proud of, but I do not want to be known as an e-commerce store owner. Like, I want to be known as a digital creator. I'm a YouTuber and a TikTok creator first. Like, these are the platforms that are so important, so lucrative, so much more, like, they have so much more potential and growth around them. So the minute that my energy starts going over into managing employees and dusting a warehouse, like, the time is up for that. Okay. So I had spoken to my employee, beginning of 2020 around there about, when the warehouse lease ends, it's going to be pretty part-time. We're going to change it up, filed all the correct information with my accountant and all that stuff. And then, then I moved to Nashville pretty shortly after that. It was probably like 3 months after, when my lease was about to end. And I was like, okay, well, I have to get out. I was waiting to get out, but then the pandemic happened, and I was like, well, I'll definitely wait till it's like, you can actually live somewhere and like actually live. So I moved here in October, which is Nashville. And I was like, okay, we're going to just keep it, low key. I'm going to just keep doing it in my apartment. At the same time, I was working on, these like store collab lines with Compound Kings and stuff, which is super fun, but I do not plan on stopping my business because it's like, this is something that I control and I love it so much. And like, this is mine, this is like my baby. This is my brand. So I didn't really plan on stopping it, but I was just like, I'm going to just take on more, but keep it all in house. So that's what I did. Kept it all in house. I have this 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, made it work. And then obviously, like, as things went on, I got a lot more orders and stuff, but it fluctuates. I'm going to just fully disclose this right now. Oh, it's so weird. I don't know why I feel so funny discussing like money, but I feel so weird saying things like that out loud. But honestly, some months I'll make like 15. Okay, no, I don't know what I have to look at the profit here, but the initial like revenue earned, not including the profit or anything not including the, oh my gosh, what's the correct word? Not including the, oh my gosh, what is the correct word? It's like the cost to make something. Okay, you guys, I'm not even kidding you. I'm on a hot streak, and how am I forgetting this? I have a spreadsheet. Okay, let's look at my spreadsheet, because there's a word. You're probably like, literally, Nichole, like, it's called this. It's like your, like the, what's that called? Yes, here's my monthly budget thing. Expenses. Okay, there he is. Okay, this is literally not this was a template I saved, but I didn't actually start using it because classic, right? So, yes, so not including expenses, it would be like around probably like 15,000 sometimes, or which probably ends up being around like an 10-11 profit, I would say. It depends on the supplies and the times and like how much things cost, but around there. Yeah, and that's obviously not including like life expenses, like, bills and all that stuff, but still good. And then there are some months when it's just like way less. It's like, maybe I actually make out the door like 6,000 or like maybe even less. Like, it really, and I hate to even like give it a number, because after you take away like, shipping, cost to make, jars, labels, ink, the printer, electricity, all of these things, it's a little different. But what I'm trying to say is it's very different month to month. Things are always super up in the air. So I was super hesitant to do something like get an office space, because then it's the same thing I did like almost a year, about a year ago when I moved out of that warehouse. I was like, that really wasn't great. And it was super, it was like there was so much money just going out the door for renting a warehouse, but I was like, I don't want to do that again. Like, I don't want to have to manage a warehouse. Like, I think it's just like, it's not fun. So that is when, I guess like fast forward to about April. Yeah, about April, I was looking at fulfillment centers. I've been kind of bopping around with this idea. So my friend Jenna from Silk Labs, she does a phenomenal job. I believe she's based in Toronto. She's incredible. She makes, I don't want to limit her. I follow her pretty closely, but I'm pretty sure she makes solely like silk scrunchies and such, and they are just incredible quality. I think she's so great. But she's the one that moved into a fulfillment center like this year, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, okay, how could I do that? And it would be, I would have to do a lot of work in the beginning to get everything there and to get everything set up, make sure they understand, like, okay, if somebody orders 50 grams of sprinkles, like, this has to happen. And the perks of this is you work on the contract to be in the fulfillment center is on month-to-month basis. So that is very nice. Low risk. It's not a lease, like a 12-month lease. It's a low-risk thing. And then they charge a bunch of different like little like fees and stuff, but it all ends up being like a processing fee amount, which is pretty much like super normal. Like, I charge that already for, I think every business does that. Every business has a processing fee because there's things that do cost that you have to charge for. And it's super, I don't feel bad for saying that out loud. Like, that's how any business works. There's always processing and handling fees. And now the perks of this is the processing and handling fees are going to go toward a fulfillment center that will ship your order. I believe their thing is once we get everything, so it's over there right now, but it's all just like literally not like sorted yet. So TBD on when all that happens. But make sure you're following me on Instagram, and I will literally announce it when it goes into effect. But if they have like a 1-day shipping thing, if it's before a certain time, or maybe even same day, they have really fast shipping, and it's all streamlined. You know, it's like everything is going to be very beautifully displayed, and it's going to be so worth the money. And then I'm going to also have my office space right there in the center, so I can keep creating. I have my mixer and all of my glue, and I can create the products there and, you know, batch them up, do all that. It'll be awesome. And then on top of that, which I have been super hype about, is my new business. So my fidget toy business. So this is essentially this was the thing that pushed me to fulfillment center more so, because if you've been following me recently, I've been doing a lot of fidget toy related content, and I was like, okay, now how can I sustain this, because I want to keep doing like this kind of content, but I need to integrate a new video topic, you know. So we have the shopping videos, we have the review videos, we have the ASMR of the fidget. Like, there's different things you can do here, but I was like, okay, so just like I did with the slime thing, I am going to begin. So basically, my website is shopnicholejacklyne.com. So on the website, you can shop merchandise, slime, fidget toys, all that stuff, DIY supplies, that whole thing. So it's all the same website. It's just like a different section, essentially, a different collection, if you will. So very fun. It's the same kind of thing as a slime. It's like very satisfying and super cool. But yeah, so that is what's up with that. So I am working on getting all that stuff. Now, I actually, in my car, it's 11 a.m. on a Saturday. I actually think I have plans at 11:30, but I really don't know, because I really want to go work on my office and get everything all organized. So TBD. But my Jeep is actually full of supplies, like fidget toys that I got. So I sourced them from Alibaba. So the same thing that actually like every company does. So it's essentially the same thing as like what people that sell on Amazon do. They use Alibaba or similar sites, and they buy like 100 of the same product, and then they can store it, and then they can essentially like redistribute it to different places, which is awesome. So that's what I'm doing, and I actually have new cards made. The Instagram is Fidgets by Nichole Jacklyne. It's linked in my Instagram bio, Nichole Jacklyne. It's super cool, and yeah, it'll be really great. I have a bunch of poppets coming, lots of Simple Dimple, some like keychains, some of those like pop tubes, squishies, lots of really fun stuff. But it'll be great because when this stuff comes in, the fulfillment center can just so much easier. They can just take whatever they have in my palette at the fulfillment center and just put it, you know, box it up and get it all ready to go, which is great. So that'll be awesome. I'm so excited for this new journey. Obviously, I'll be posting more about it as time goes on. But yeah, so that's the update. I'm super excited about all of it. And yeah, I am actually, at the same time you're listening to this episode, if you're listening to this episode right now, I have just uploaded, the moving vlog, the first one that takes you from my apartment to the fulfillment center. Everything is just there, but once I get there and I can actually like unload everything, then I will start to set it all up for you guys, and I'll do a part 2 vlog of that whole thing. So get hyped for that. I literally cannot wait. It's going to be so freaking fun. But stay tuned for more announcements. I'm going to be TikTok, sharing all the TikTok stuff as well. I'll be sharing tons of vlogs. I'm going to I'm going to show fulfillment center stuff, how they're going to package orders, and just how my life is going to look now. I, of course, will vlog the entire thing. I will do more restock with me for my slime shop, but I also want to do like inventory hauls when I get giant batches of fidget toys in. I'm actually going to stack it all up on a wall in my office at the fulfillment center. And I'm going to wait until I get everything in. Then I'm going to do a giant like inventory haul, and then I can actually launch. But I'm kind of debating just launching as I go, because I have some really fun stuff that I would love to just launch and just get it out there ASAP, because then I could have like I think I have about 4 or 5 things right now that I could get up, and then when everything comes in, I'll just get those up as fast as possible. But this way you're not waiting forever, and I want to keep the hype, fun and exciting. So that is the update. I'm so freaking excited. This was the announcement. This is the tea. We love this. I love talking for actually 30 minutes nonstop. Literally my favorite thing. My podcasts are the best outlet, and honestly, I'm obsessed with it. It's just so fun. But yes, stay tuned for all the updates. So much fun coming. I truly am so excited. So love you guys so much. If you are still listening, it would mean the world if you give this podcast a 5-star rating. All you have to do is tap the 5 stars down on the end of my podcast, and that's all you have to do. Give it 5 stars. It helps a lot, actually. It helps if people find my podcast. It would actually be so great. I love the podcast. It's so much fun. But yes, you guys, I'll see you guys. Actually, I won't see you. This is not YouTube. It's a podcast. I will talk to you guys very soon. All right, guys. Bye. Love ya.